equality, and access to equitable opportunities for individuals with disabilities should be a national priority. Therefore, every March, we take a moment to observe National Disability Awareness Month. It's intended to remind all of us that everyone, regardless of ability, is entitled to live a life free and clear of opportunities for advancement. Therefore, during March, we take extra steps to raise awareness about the supports and rights of individuals with disabilities and taking homage of their contributions towards a better societal life. Which is why I was personally honored to moderate a discussion between two local Michigan disability advocates. Ray Schuholz is a certified peer mentor for community living services. He's an ambassador for the Detroit Wayne Mental Health Authority and a fierce advocate for inclusion for all people in his community. Meanwhile, Ryan Klotz serves as a board member for the ARC of Northwest Wayne County. He also works as a home and community-based trainer for the Michigan Developmental Disabilities Institute. Klotz is also a community transition trainer for the Michigan Developmental Disabilities Institute at Wayne State University. Both gentlemen are fiercely committed to ensuring that individuals with disabilities have an active voice in and around their communities at large. So without further delay, let's get to the heart of this inclusive conversation where everyone matters. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. Gentlemen, I want to take this opportunity to welcome both of you to the program, and I'm super excited to share this space with you as we observe and celebrate National Disability Awareness Month. Great to see both of you this afternoon, and thank you so very much for being here.
Thank you for the invite very much.
And me too. Thank you very much. Glad to be here today.
Absolutely. So, Ryan and Ray, tell me, why do you think it's important to celebrate a National Disability Awareness Month?
Ray?
I think it's very important because years ago people weren't being recognized for their abilities, what they cannot do. And I think it's very important to recognize people with disabilities, what they can do. And right now people are living a life. They're married. They got homes, living in homes, living in condos. People live a self-directed life. People live in, we have like group homes where people live a self-determined life. We have people live in AFC homes. So we have different categories here.
I echo Ray's sentiment that people with disabilities need to be recognized, because years gone by, they weren't being recognized, and not being appreciated or even most importantly accepted. So nowadays it's gotten better. Of course, we still need to work on it, but it's gone leaps and bounds better than it has in past years. We need to accept people with disabilities and recognize them for the people that they are, no matter how they're differently abled. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And, Ray, the next question goes to you, my friend. I know for years you've worked actively to promote dignity and well-being for individuals with disabilities and living with disabilities. What do you think, my friend? Some people need to clear up their misunderstandings about people living with disabilities.
I think people, number one, is they have not been educated. It took me a while to figure this all out. They have not been educated because back in my time, well, I said, was growing up from an institution that lived a life and had some very loving family. And from there, I moved with them because once your institution lies there, you've been robbed, your life. Then you got to start all over again. I was 10 when I got out of there. And they adopted me, and I was very, very fortunate. But there was discriminations back them days. I had neighbors saying we don't want people in our neighborhood. That's terrible. No one should be talked to like that. I'm a kid, and they were saying that to my parents. Um, Two, I went to school, and junior high, and then I went to high school. Back then, I was bullied. Back then, with special education, they didn't spend the time with you back then. They kind of put you out in the regular classes. So how you're gonna have to learn the hard way, right? So that's how I did it. Then I had to go a couple more years after that to graduate because I was set back. So I wanted to share that. So
Yeah, absolutely. And Ryan, the next question goes to you, my friend. I'm curious, how do you define inclusion and what does it mean to you to be fully included in society?
Being fully included in society means people accept and understand you. You're included in what I call the mainstream conversations, which are the broader conversations that include community. I believe is my belief that a community should involve all people, not just certain people or people who are recognized more than others. We if we're going to talk about inclusion, bring us into those conversations that include everyone, that include all people, because even we, people with disabilities, even though we're largely misunderstood, we are a part of that greater community. We are people as well. We just have do things differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's portrait of success is different, isn't it?
Exactly.
inclusive to me, it means everybody. Everybody
Yeah.
should come to the table, even with employment. Let's go back to employment right now, if you don't mind me sharing.
Yeah,
Back in
absolutely.
employment, back in our time, okay. Now I love my job now. Before I get there, I want to talk about my past job I've had. It was like 2005. Um, Inclusive was I didn't feel like I was inclusive at all because when I went to work, I've been bullied there. I mean, I've been name calling in front of my boss, for example. Hey, I have a right to work here like anybody else. I'm a person. So that's what I'm talking about inclusive. Everybody should be treated with dignity and respect, no matter where we are.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ryan, I know it's important to you to be a community mentor when you live in Westland, my friend. So tell me about being a community mentor and really giving people a sense of social capital and connection.
I talk to people when I talk to people about disability inclusion and awareness. I remind them that we all there is a lack of understanding about people with disabilities. We all need to continue to learn and grow, no matter the subject, disability, disability education, anything. We are always learning, and we're always needing to learn. It's I believe that there is some complacency. Some people are complacent about what they know and what they think they need to know, or what they think they should know. There are some people who think that they know everything, and don't need to learn anything else. I go around and I talk to people all the time and say, "This is who I am. This is this is my disability. This is what I can do." I don't focus so much on what I can't do, but I focus on what I can do and say, "Well, if you don't understand something, you can ask. There are ways to ask us." I like to provide a welcoming atmosphere when I talk to people about disability inclusion, and say, you can ask anything. I'm pretty much an open book. There are ways to ask people with disabilities questions, and just I teach people that there are ways to talk to people with disabilities, ways to help people with disabilities and interact with us.
Yeah, for sure. And tell me how that work is going and how you really connect with the people that you work with.
I provide a calming, I provide that calming voice when talking to people. Um, I'm very nice. I'm very casual with people. I come up and I'm just not I'm cheerful, and just, hi, how you doing? How are you? How's your family? Things like that. If I happen to know the family, I'll ask about that. You know, I'm very, I provide a very kind appeal to myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ray, I want to know about your upbringing, my friend, and how that was for you, and whether you think you experienced any discrimination going up, and do you think it's improved any at all?
Well, it has improved now because we're out here with a voice. And once we're out here with the voice and education, and because right now, because what the disability, it brings your self esteem down. It brought me down from the beginning because I kept saying, why did they don't want me to hang around with people around my age? People weren't that friendly back in that time, but I was. I always believed in myself now and saying, you know, I always want to be included with everybody. We all should be. Everyone
Well
should be
said.
treated. And my thing is being treated with dignity and respect. And I'm really good. And also, what I'm doing now is I'm working. I work at an agency. I'm a peer mentor, and that what it is sometimes a peer mentor. Say there's a staff where they can't talk to the staff, but they talk to a peer. That's where I come in with my experiences. Or I do resources too. Like if let's say they don't know where the library is, for example, I show it to them. Or I tell them about City Hall, or I kind of give people hope. I'm always out in the community now. So it was a struggle back then, but I think, now I'm all, I ask questions. I have that support built around me now where I didn't have that support years ago. I
Yeah,
wish they had the supports back then. They didn't.
yeah, representation matters, doesn't it?
Right, it does make a big difference.
And this is a open-ended question for both of you. I'm curious to ask you about what do you think policymakers, those in government, need to know about serving individuals with disabilities? How can they make it better, and what strides do you think we've made?
Ryan, you want to take this one first?
All right, thank you, Ray. I appreciate it. There's
Okay.
a term we use in a book that was published in 1998 called Nothing About Us Without Us. That basically says, in talking about legislators, don't pass laws or legislation, rules, or anything that concerning us without including us in that conversation. Again, bring us to the table, bring us into those mainstream conversations. Those are what I call mainstream conversations. If you're going to create laws to either support us or for us, or even against us, if there are legislation laws like that, make sure you understand who people with disabilities are, the struggles they go through, and some comprehensive understanding of their life, and how they live their life. Don't go trying to make rules for us without understanding us, because many of us will surprise you, like Ray and myself.
Yeah, and Ryan, let's follow up on that and trying to tell people about how productive folks with disabilities can be, because they can really provide a competitive advantage in society, can't they?
They can, and there's a misunderstanding about people with disabilities. People saying, people with disabilities, varying disabilities, can't do this, that, or the other. That is based on what they see first. That is the first sense. There are 5 senses. The first one is sight. People see us, and automatically we live in a world of assuming, and I've done it myself. Lord knows I've done it myself. I try not to. People assume that we can't do anything, or that we can't do many things, because we can't move around, or operate like they can. So they think differently of us without understanding us. Without trying to understand what we can do. Ray, do you want to add to that?
I want to add to that what Ryan is right. And sometimes people do make assumptions without you talking to you first. Like for example, someone thought I was in a group home. I don't live in a group home. I live a life. That's
Uh-huh.
a home. People's homes. People have different living arrangements, I can call it. But let's look at the person. I remember going back, I did the Bill of Rights, 1984. I'm a long timer. Read the rights that people should be treated with dignity and respect, and all of us, and I'll quote that with my hand, work
Uh-huh.
together.
Right.
And but the legislatures, I had to come back a few times because there's times they'll just sit there and we have a couple, like 4 people there. They didn't want to talk to us, but they would talk to the professionals. Like, wait a minute here. Our voice is important too.
Yeah, they should be talking to us.
They should
You
be
know.
talking to us. But I still get that now a little bit, not with the legislatures, but we've gotten that far now. Like, let's say when I go like with now, there's recovery, and there's peer recovery and peer mentors. So I went somewhere, for example, and I was sitting at a table, and I felt like people were not including me. And that's what Ryan's talking about. Inclusive means everybody should be treated, be included with your ideals on that table. So we still
Yeah,
got work to do, but it's getting better, but we still need to keep going out there with our voice.
yeah, absolutely. And Ray, I want to give you the floor because I skipped over you when I asked the policy question. So, Well, what do you think politicians and those who make policies need to know about how to service folks with disabilities?
Well, they should not be. They should be asking us, asking the people that we support with people with disabilities. Ask them. We should be inclusive. It's a service. I
Yeah,
mean, it's about us too. I mean, we're living a life, and we should be, inclusive with that
yeah.
conversation.
Everyone has value, don't they?
Right?
Correct.
Doesn't matter.
Absolutely. And Ryan, the next question, my friend, goes to you. I'm curious to ask you about the notion of inclusion and acceptance and what that means to you.
Well, as we've been saying here, inclusion is including us in conversations, activities, community activities, group activities, public activities, any activity. No, not excluding us from anything. We should be included in community activities, community conversations, the greater conversations that involve everyone. Everyone has a right to be included in various activities, and everyone includes people with disabilities. Now, I believe, did you say dignity as well?
Yeah, and let's pick up on this. So, Ray and Ryan, this question goes to you. I'm curious to get your guys' opinion on the valuable asset that people living with disabilities can contribute to society.
Right?
Yeah, and well, number one, I did a conference last year, inclusive, and what we did was we asked people to raise their hand. How many people do you think should be inclusive? Well, maybe 10. Well, the other ones had their thumbs down. They didn't know, or they are not sure. So when I did a presentation last year, it opened a lot of eyes, and guess what? People went like this.
Good.
Because I said everybody should be inclusive.
I agree. Everybody needs to be involved. Everybody should be involved.
And it's nothing wrong in asking for help. Nothing
Exactly.
wrong with that, or asking questions. Like I said, you treat somebody the way you want to be treated.
Correct.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ray, tell me, how do you think people with disabilities can be better treated and appreciated in today's societal life?
Well, in today's society, people should be recognized. So I'm going to say one thing. Person's not confined to a wheelchair. They use a wheelchair. I look at a person. I don't look at the chair, for example. Is stuff like that. Or looking at, or just talk to somebody and say, hi, how you doing? How's your day going? It makes my day when someone says hi to me. And Ray, it's nice to keep up the good work that you're doing. It makes me feel good when people recognize, now people are talking to me now. I didn't have that years ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Felt like I was I don't want to say, but in the box.
Yeah.
But you know what? Ray never gave up.
No.
I kept going out there and took no for an answer.
Yeah,
It made things better.
Yeah,
Made things better with person-centered planning too. It's about the person, not system-centered, person-centered. And that's what it should be.
Indeed, and Ray and Ryan, that leads to my next question. I wanted to ask you about social capital and the importance of building communities of support for individuals with disabilities. How important do you think that is?
Very important, because I'm on a board of directors for one of the ARC organizations, and the ARC helps support people with disabilities. I'm on this disability advocacy committee with Ray, our chairman.
Yep, I'm
I'm on other various committees. I think being on committees builds voices. Committees build voices, bigger voices, louder voices. The more people you have, the more voices you have, the bigger impact you have. You know, I'm not saying one voice does millions, but a group of larger voices is paramount for change. You know, I'm very happy to be on the board and committees that I'm on for the state of Michigan, and you know, I help provide a voice for people with disabilities, and I'm proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ray, I'll give you the floor to answer the same
Okay,
question.
yeah, and I'm on a few boards too. I'm on the disability advocacy. I'm the chair of that. I started this with Westland with the mayor from the past, uh, 2007, and we kind of got it together. So it took a while to get this thing off the ground. So it was disability concern then, but no, we wanted to get rid of that part of it, the stigma. Now we put it in disability advocacy community, which is I am proud of this name tag right here. And I'm going out to the community. I'm going out to different city councils. I am educating people. And exactly what I'm doing for the month of March. There's a couple of them I'm going to next week. So my word is hope. Everyone should be inclusive here. All people.
Yeah, absolutely. And the next question is open for discussion. And as you know, employment equity and equality is important for people with disabilities. You know, gentlemen, I always say that talent is an equally distributable commodity, but sometimes the opportunity and access to those sort of opportunities isn't always readily available. So tell me about your thoughts on how important it is to advance employment equity and equality for individuals with disabilities.
Ray, can I
What?
go for
Go ahead. Can you take that? Then I will. Go ahead.
okay. It goes back to understanding people with disabilities. In past years, even now, people with disabilities were not included in the job market in many aspects of the job market. They weren't hired, they weren't included, they weren't accepted, they were misunderstood because of ignorance, a lack of understanding on others' parts. People didn't, and some still don't know what people with disabilities can offer to a company, a job, you know, a working environment. We have various talents, each of us our own, so that we can provide to help bring forward a company or organization or a job or workplace. You know, people just need to give us a chance and ignore those misconceptions or those assumptions that some may have that we can't do anything or we can't do many things. We'll surprise you. I learned early on to adapt when I was younger. Adapt to what I can't do. So I did that. And I've surprised many people with the way I've adapted to things, such as jobs. I can do different things for many people, different employers.
And Ray, what are your thoughts on this
Uh,
subject?
and let's talk about employment. So employment should be able to give a person a chance. Hey, there's people out there that want to work. They should be given an opportunity and a chance, not ignored. So I know what Ryan's saying because this happened to me too. So I kept going back out there and with educating, so I can do this job. Give me a chance.
Mm-hmm.
There's risk in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
If that person can do it, I should be able to do it.
Right.
Like someone told me one time, and I'm going to say a short story on this one.
Yeah, sure.
One
Go right
tapped
ahead.
me on the shoulder and they said, "You drive a car?" Yeah, why shouldn't I? I should drive a car like everybody else. Or take a test like anybody else. If I wanted to, right now with peer mentoring, I love it. I love my job. I get the great supports there. Um, I want to see other people. I want to see other peers out there after a
Mhm.
while. It takes time. People should be treated with dignity. They should have the right to work, whatever. And I'm glad we got stuff now that build that support. Because, like I said, going out there and getting a job on your own, it's not easy
Mhm.
back in the time.
Correct.
Because I got ignored, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
he can't do it.
We've come along.
Watch me.
Yeah,
Like when
we've come.
someone said I couldn't be a speaker. Look, I'm a speaker today.
Yeah, absolutely. We've come a long way, haven't we?
We came a long ways. Because
Indeed.
you know why? People like Ryan, people like me, and people other advocates out there, we don't give up.
Hmm.
Got to keep going out there. I'm out there all the time in the community now, educated.
I can vouch for Ray. He is out there all the time. I've known Ray for 17 years, and he's definitely been out there.
Yeah, well, I can tell that Ray has a abundance of energy to share, right?
He
Yep.
does.
Yeah. Gentlemen, as you both know, that March is Women's History Month. So I'm curious to give you the floor to tell me about your perspective on what you think women with disabilities can contribute to society and how important you think observing this month truly is.
Ray?
I think it was very important is keep believing that and bring them out in the community and believe in them and do it.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to go outside and or walk with a walker or however they get around, they should be on the community. They should be celebrating.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you,
We don't
Ryan?
want to go backwards. We want to go forward.
It's
And
all
like
about.
one
It's all
final
up.
thing I want to
Yeah.
say is we label the cans, we don't label people.
Right. Exactly. I like that, Ray. Very good. Very good.
Yeah, it's all about moving forward, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
we came a long ways. We still got work to do, but we came a
Hmm.
long way.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ryan, I'll give you your thoughts on what Women's History Month means to you, my friend.
Women's History Month. Talking about people with disabilities. Men, women, we all should be treated equal. There is no there is no one greater than the other, especially women. I mean, women, especially in the job market, the normal job market, they've mostly been paid less than men in many areas of employment. Now you think about then you add women with disabilities, that provides another disadvantage to them. I know several women with disabilities who overcome these odds and just amaze people with what they can do. They adapt as well. You know, they are. So I know some of the strongest women I know are disabled, have a disability.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to not discount people with disabilities, not, and even more so, not discount women with disabilities. Everybody has a power. Everybody has a gift. Everybody has a skill or many skills that they can offer, men or women. It doesn't matter. I just think women should be praised. I'm glad that we have Women's Appreciation Month. Because women were not appreciated for so many years, so they need to be appreciated. I'm the kind of person that says women should be appreciated a little more than men, because I'm just that type of person, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And gentlemen,
I
as
agree with that too. With women should be treated. What I was talking about earlier it means everybody.
yeah,
But women too should be. We do have women advocates out there too. Should
Yes, we do.
be recognized and should be treated equally.
yeah, absolutely. And gentlemen, as we wind down our time this afternoon, I've got two quick questions for you. The first has to do with representation. And when you hear the phrase representation matters, What comes to mind for you?
Ray, can I do this real quick? Can I take
You go
this?
do that one for me.
Last Monday and Tuesday, I was part of Advocacy Day in our state capital of Lansing, Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about representation. I believe that was your question.
Yeah.
Representation. There were upwards of 90 advocates scheduled for meetings with our elected legislators, state senators, and state congressmen. 90 meetings. There was a room full, a building full of advocates with disability advocates. So we have representation, especially in Michigan. We have representation in the United States. I'm online, which is a definite, I'd say, negative as far as people sharing their opinion. It could also be positive. I've seen people with disabilities on social media talking about disability advocacy and the rights of people with disabilities to come out, who come out and say, we deserve this, we deserve that, we deserve to be included, we deserve to be accepted and understood. People need to do better with their understanding and acceptance of people with disabilities. It's all about education of the public, to understand people with disabilities better and not be so complacent about what they think they know. We have severe representation in the state of Michigan. I saw that last week.
Yeah. And
Ray,
also,
did you want to add your opinion in here, my friend?
also, I was going to say, I agree with Ryan about the legislators. That's a pretty good number turnout.
How important do you think representation is when it comes to fully including folks with disabilities?
Well, I think it's very important that people continue and don't stop with your legislators. It's important. And I'm glad they do this thing once a year, but call them, write them, get involved with your boards, get your voice heard. Educate them. I think the key thing I learned a lot about is education.
Mm-hmm.
And we have proof, people. We have proof, because I remember years ago what they said, well, we don't want people in our neighborhood. Well, I bet they do now. We're living a life. And that's what I'm so proud of. If I can do it, other people can do it.
Right.
All you have to do is ask for help.
That comes from a lack of a misunderstanding about people with disabilities, saying we don't want you in our neighborhoods. That people are afraid of what they don't understand, and that comes with
you hit it right.
That comes with many things, not just people with disabilities or talking about people with disabilities. So people are afraid of what they don't understand, and they get defensive / embarrassed when they don't understand something.
Yeah, absolutely. And gentlemen, my final question for you this afternoon has to do with your greatest hope for the future, and why do you think months like this need to continue after the month of March, and how important is it that this, in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion, is an ongoing conversation?
Ray, may I? Or do you want to
go ahead, and I'll do it. You go first.
See, there's 1 month disability awareness month.
Yep.
Why not? That should be going on all year. That should be going on all year, and not just in March. And there should be, again, there's too much contentment in the world. People are too content with what they think they know. They think, oh wait, I don't need to learn anything more. And I've said this before, and I apologize for repeating.
Go ahead.
Why shouldn't it be only March? Why can't we have it all year round? And not in. I can say that about other minority groups. In fact, I would say that about other minority groups in this country, in this world. We minority groups and anybody, we deserve all year round appreciation, everyone. You know, we should be appreciative of everyone in this world. If we were more appreciative of everyone in this world would be a better place. But this world consists of varying opinions, varying beliefs. We don't agree with all of them, but that's what makes us different. And that's what starts conversation. And, you know, those conversations need to be more positive.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ray, if you want to do,
So I'm going to take about what Ryan left off is I don't think about the negatives. I think about the positives. I keep thinking about making things better. We need to continue, not just for the month of March, all the time.
Right.
We need to change people's and educate the people and change their mind. Hey, it could be you in that situation. I don't want to say that. We always have to remember to be kind to one another and believe into the person.
yeah, absolutely.
And I don't give up. You know, I'm out there all the time, not just for the month of March. I'm out there.
Again, I can vouch for that.
It's a continuing conversation. And Ray, I should tell you before you signed on, my friend, I shared with Ryan that I was also born with a disability, and I've lived my entire life with spastic quadriplegia cerebral palsy, and I want to thank the both of you for joining me today to discuss this important topic and the observance of this important month. And I want to thank you for your individual and collective efforts in adding your voices to this conversation of inclusion for individuals with disabilities. And I want to thank both of you for joining me this afternoon. It's most appreciated.
Well, I really enjoyed being on here today.
Yes,
and
I did.
love to be the part of this.
I enjoyed myself.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much for the invite.
Absolutely. And just before we leave today, if people want to get connected with the two of you, what's the best way they can do that?
You can connect with me.
The best way they can get in touch with me, call me. They can call my my work number because I always get my voicemails there. 734-722-4725. Hey, I'm here. But, you know, I'll call you back.
Well,
or they can email me, to like clubray202@gmail.com.
Fabulous. Well, as a journalist, I certainly appreciate that. And Ryan, what about you? If people want to get connected with you, my friend, what's the best way they can do that?
You can get a hold of me on Twitter at Ryan M. Klotz. That's Ryan, R-Y-A-N, M as in Michael, and Klotz, K-L-O-T-Z. If you want to tweet me, please do. And then also you can email me at Ryan.M as in Michael, .klotz@gmail.com. You can email me there.
Fabulous. Well, gentlemen, again, I want to thank you for your ongoing efforts to bring light to this important issue. And I want to thank the both of you for joining me this afternoon. It's most appreciated.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. I enjoyed it very much.